Hello friends, it's Heather. Welcome back to Brilliant Blue Reviews. In today's video, as promised, I'm going to tell you the movies that I saw in the movie theater in 2024 that were probably not worth the money. So these are movies that I saw that I didn't like or I thought weren't very good or definitely just weren't worth your time or your money. And that if you haven't seen them, unless you're really bored, I wouldn't bother even watching them on streaming, okay? I saw 23 movies in the movie theater in 2024, and the movies that were the real duds of the year, and there was a good number of them, I'm gonna list for you here. Now, if you wanna know every movie that I saw in 2024 and my favorites, make sure you go back and watch my previous video where I talked about every movie I saw, how many times I saw it, what I thought of them, and which ones I thought were my favorites and which ones were the best, okay? But today's video is dedicated to the worst movies on this list. All right, started out with a couple of real duds. We didn't see anything in January, which is not unheard of. There's often nothing to go to in the movies in January. February 4th, I saw Argylle. My gosh, was that movie dumb. That movie had so much potential. The concept of the movie was great. The cast was terrific. It could have been so much better. The violence is unnecessary. The goofiness of it, the way they went with the it was so dumb. This probably actually wins the prize for my most hated movie of 2024 is Argylle. It was so dumb. I just walked out of that theater shaking my head. Complete waste of my time and money. On February 18th was Madam Web. They've already talked about how Madam Web was not. It tried. I mean, it wasn't horrible. Again, it had some potential, but the acting wasn't great. The cast was kind of weird. The ending was like, what? Yeah, totally skippable. In a very disappointing turn, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I was so excited about this movie, and the previews made it look like it was going to be really cool. It was not. It was very disappointing. I did not like how the story went at all. It was way too long. I think I fell asleep. And Ghostbusters, the previous one that they did, Ghostbusters Afterlife, was so good and such a pleasant surprise and so worth the wait. And this one was just a bummer. I just wasn't pleased with it at all. Really disappointed by Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Who else feels that way? Let me know. If. It was fine. It was kind of sweet. I liked the ending. I especially liked who it turned out her imaginary friend was. That was kind of neat. But some of it was kind of confusing. Like, they didn't explain enough, like, who was who. This is her grandma, but whose mom is she? And where do they live? And what happened to the mom? And it was all kind of confusing. And, like, I feel like they could have done more in the way of explanation. It was all a little bit vague. But the voice acting was really great, and it was okay, but if I had missed it, I wouldn't be missing much. Twisters. What the heck? Again, super excited, thinking it's going to be a sequel to Twister, which is a classic. It's not, and it is Night and Day Twister. Twister, which came out in the 90s, is fun. It's a little bit scary. It's intense in some spots, but it's fun and it's entertaining and it has humor and it's not traumatizing, okay? So many people die in the first 5 minutes of Twisters. It's horrible. There's actual true death and trauma and tragedy in Twisters, and it doesn't ever really lighten up. It was dark and depressing and scary and sad and awful. And it turns out she's not in any way. Everybody thought she was going to be the daughter of one of the characters from the original Twister. No, they're not in any way connected at all. So, I mean, other than the Dorothy, they don't really connect them. The potential was there to connect the movies, and it's like they chose not to. And I don't really understand that decision, because I think it would have been better if they had. They also really needed to lighten up on the story. I don't know what their motivation was for making it so much darker and more serious and violent, really, with the storms and twisters, but I couldn't recommend Twisters to anybody because it was really genuinely scary and upsetting. Trap. What? What? What is that? I love you, M. Night Shyamalan, but what the heck has happened to you? I mean, he's just gone off the rails at this point. I had so much hope for this one. I thought, okay, this is going to be better. He's going to get back to his good stuff from the beginning. Again, there was so much potential for a really good twist. There really wasn't a twist. There was nothing. Well acted. I don't know about making his daughter the pop star sensation in the movie, but I mean, she did a good job. But again, it had so much potential, and I feel like the first half when they were in the stadium was decent, and then once they left the stadium, I was like, what the heck? What are you doing? No. So yeah, I can't recommend that either. Reagan. Don't get me started. Okay, first of all, it's just bad. It's just bad. It's poorly acted. It's not accurate at all historically. It's like you're watching Dennis Quaid pretending to be Ronald Reagan. It's not like you're watching Ronald Reagan. It's through a very weird filter with this Russian guy telling the story, and it's not, I don't even think it's the timeline is right. It's all of the right-wing Republicans after that movie came out were like, woo, this is the greatest movie, and you all must go see it, and it's so excellent and awesome. And I'm sorry, empirically, it's just not a good movie. Okay, it's just not. And also, how many of those people came out of the theater, like, oh, Reagan is so, and this is why America is great, but also I'm voting for Trump, who is absolutely nothing like Reagan at all. I mean, do you hear yourselves? Just checking in on that. Okay, then we had a bunch of good ones. Good. Okay, We Live in Time. I did not like that movie. Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield. If you want to see Andrew Garfield do a phenomenal job with his acting, then you should see that movie. If you already don't like Florence Pugh like I really don't go to that movie, because all it's just going to do is make you mad and make you want to punch her. She's awful to him in that movie. She's horrible to him. He's so sweet and loves her so much, and she just treats him like crap. And I really couldn't get past that. And also, it just kind of leaves you hanging at the end. It's weird. And again, not enough is explained. And I didn't think that the time, there was nothing about time. I thought it was going to be something really clever or interesting with time, given that the title is We Live in Time. But there was just this unnecessary jumping around. I talk about it in my full review, that I found completely unnecessary and didn't add anything to the film. She made me so mad with the way she treated him in that film and how she walked all over his feelings and stuff, that it just left me with a very bad taste in my mouth, and I didn't like it at all. Here, I liked it, but I also didn't like it. I don't know. Go back and watch my full review of Here. It's an odd one. It's very unusual. It's not a bad movie. I think it was still worth my money to go see, but I don't know. I can't quite decide how I feel about that movie. Bonhoeffer, I could have totally skipped. I didn't learn enough from that movie. I ended up having to come home and research everything myself. I didn't like the acting. Somebody commented on my review of that movie that they thought it was just so amazing. And were you watching the same movie I was? It really wasn't. It was fine. It was a well done enough movie, but it could have been much better. I don't feel like it was made to its full potential. And just if what you wanted to see was a biography of Bonhoeffer, you didn't get that in that movie, and it left me wanting more and needing more information and things like that. And so that was a little bit disappointing. I had to look up so many things myself after I got home from the movie, and I don't like that. I mean, I don't mind looking up some things to get like more of a fuller picture, but that one just left me really bummed out because I was just like, I don't know what happened. What happened here? What was this about? And stuff like that. It left me with too many questions. So, I mean, the quality of the movie itself was fine. I didn't love the actor that played Bonhoeffer, though. He kind of bugged me. I don't know. My 10 worst movies of 2024, if I have to put it that way, would be those. Those are the 10 that I think were fairly skippable. And in some cases, a waste of your money if you went to see them in the theater. So those are the ones that from my full list of everything I saw in 2024, that I wouldn't recommend to people, and that you would be safe to skip, and you're definitely not missing anything. Thanks for checking out my list, and let me know which ones you agree with down in the comments below. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next time.